audience members, unceded territory of the Osage people, So, hello everyone, my name is Sotyoma. My English name is James Elijah. I come from the Oneida of the Thames First Nation, located outside of London, Ontario. I want to welcome all of you who are here in our audience, but I also want to welcome everyone who is live streaming with us right now. I really appreciate you being here, taking the time out of your day. What I had said in my language is that today is a good day, that I have a responsibility to give thanks for this day. It's a beautiful day, and I'm happy for this one and another one. What I had also said is that I'm happy for the opportunity to be here to receive the medicine of our elder Christy David. She really going to be contributing a lot. I'm really excited. I also said that I'm excited and I'm happy and grateful for you, the audience, that's already. But what I'm saying more specifically is that you who are here today, you are a medicine to me. You are a medicine to me. You are helping me fulfill the goal that I've had with creating expressions of reclamation. So for everyone that's online, I appreciate you taking your time on your day to be here as well. Without further ado, I would like to introduce two people. First one is Christy. She can introduce herself. I always think it's important for me as being a younger person that I need to be humble and respectful to the older people. In my language, we refer to grandmas and grandpas as grandmas are aksut and grandpas are luksut. And so I just wanted to say that for Christy, my aksut, she can introduce herself and talk for herself. She's earned that right. I was told that I have to put this close. Can you hear it? Okay, perfect. I thought my voice was deep enough and loud enough that you could all hear it. The other person that I want to introduce, and if they're okay coming up, is Mary. So Mary, if you could come up, please. So I've asked Mary to come and participate in this expression today to be a witness. And so paying the respect and again the homage to the unceded territories of the Coast Salish people, I was always told that when there are goings on, ceremonies or meetings or something of importance, that there was always individuals who are selected to watch and pay attention and to remember what's going on. And so in honor and respect to the Coast Salish people, I was given permission to use this concept and this idea of the ceremony to invite a witness. And the reason why we have chosen Mary to be here today is because Expressions of Reclamation isn't just for us to showcase the artist, but it's to give them meaningful opportunities at the end of it, at the end of the showcase. So Christy can explain what her goals, after this, I believe, and if I remember correctly, it has to do with, and so she can explain that on her own. So Mary, I want to say thank you, for coming here. Mary's going to explain and introduce herself on where she comes from, and so yeah, here you go.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. My name is Mary Trentadue. I'm a city councillor here in New West, and I'm a settler to this land. And thank you for the land acknowledgement. I just want to further that acknowledgement by stating that the city New West is on the stolen and unceded territory of the Hulkamelam speaking people. And I also want to acknowledge that I am on a learning journey of our history around settlers and reconciliation and decolonization, and I consider my being here today as part of that learning and part of that participation. And I'm glad that you are all here to participate as well. It's really important. And I am grateful to be a witness. I haven't been described as that before, and I think it's actually very meaningful and gives purpose to why we gather and why we listen and hear other stories. And I also welcome the opportunities that you bring, Christy. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go a little off script there, and I want to say thank you, Mary, for saying those words. I never realized how impactful it is to hear a non-Indigenous person say those words. You know, this showcase isn't about me, but I want to say that this opportunity that we have here today, you know, I'm an authentic and genuine person, and I believe that it's important to be authentic and genuine with not just our words, but the way we carry ourselves and with our emotions. You know, my father always told me that we have emotions for a reason. Sometimes we can't express what we're feeling with words, that it comes out in raw emotion. And so I want to say thank you for that. It made me feel really good, and it encouraged me to continue the work, you know, by those words that you just shared, you know, so I really appreciate that. And here's Christy.
Do I need the mic? Okay, my name is Christy. I'm an alcoholic, member of World Variety. Just to say that I'm from the Wet'suwet'en Nation. I'm sure a few of you have heard of us in the rallies in regards to Mother Earth. That's Morristown, Smithers, BC. Just a little bit about myself. I've been sewing for, some of us elders know about the physical education. Physical education and home ec. Anybody take home ec? Everybody in the room. So I learned to sew when I was like grade 9. So I've been sewing for 50 years already. I started sewing to save my life. I was taken from my family when I was 3 years old. 60 scoop survivor, for those that don't know. 60 scoop is kids that were taken from their families and put in foster care. I'm one of the survivors of that. So I did the high school stuff and started sewing to save my life. I was sexually assaulted and physically abused by the foster parents. In order to save my life, this saved me. I'd sew until 4 o'clock in the morning. So it was mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, it guided me to the positive things in life despite all that other stuff. So that's where I'm at with that. You want to do a presentation first?
Mm-hmm. What you are learning about today is real. You know, like what Christy had shared about how it saved her life. You know, I can attest and I can say that crafting and creativity has saved lives. We had a choice. We had a choice. She had a choice to go down a path that probably wouldn't have not taken her or brought her to her creativity. But she made a choice somewhere along the line and the road that she was going to express herself and heal herself through the arts and creativity and the sewing. And so, before we continue, it's always important that a ceremony takes place first whenever there's anything that I want to learn how to sew. I want to learn something. So in our culture, it's always important to ask for permission, but it's also important to ask the person, you know. And so you are going to witness what I call a very simple ceremony, but it's very important because it's one of the first things that an individual who wants to learn something, they have to present something. And so what I was always told is that you don't get something without giving something. So I'm going to be presenting Christy with some tobacco. So the tobacco is a sacred medicine. It's one of our 4 sacred medicines that's connected in the medicine wheel. It's a medicine that came, in my culture, came from Galunyage, or we say ayungwa'u. Ayungwa'u means tobacco, or the mind plant. We use it when we pray. But also what's a part of this bundle of me asking Christy for permission is fabric. So we call these prayer flags for the ceremonies that we participate in. We use these prayer flags, these colors here, to ask and to pray to our Creator, to Mother Earth, to the 4 directions, to the 4 beings, the four medicines, to Mother Earth, to Grandmother Moon, you know, whatever it is, it's represented in these, you know. So there's 7 colors in here, and so I feel a little awkward holding the microphone, so I'm going to set the microphone down when I'm doing this, okay? So hopefully you can hear me still. So that I was want to learn from you, and I'm hoping that you could teach me how to sew, how to do the things that help yourself learn over the years. So, you know, that simple ceremony right there is important. So after our showcase here, we're going to be going on for about 45 minutes is what we have to do our work. Our goal is to get a finished ribbon skirt done. If we don't have that, that's okay, because the purpose of this is for us to learn. If any of you have any questions, you can ask the questions throughout the showcase. The live streams can ask the questions throughout the showcase. The individuals who are present here, we ask that you wait till the end. We're going to have about 15 minutes at the end of the showcase for you to ask questions. You can ask really anything, and it's up to Christy if she wants to answer them or not. So here we go. Here's Christy.
Okay, I'm going to start off with, these are the baby ribbon skirts. Of course, the turtle. What we're going to learn is how to make it. You can make this in 3 hours. If you're an avid sewer, I'm sure you could see some improvements on it. Of course, ribbon skirts, as you can tell, there's different decals. This one's got a bear and wolf. This one has eagle. This is the hummingbird. Each animal is different. It can ribbon skirts have been around since the 1800s. Not as elaborate as these. They've been around when settlers came to North America. And it got more prominent when the France came into North America, and that's when the lace and the ribbons started coming. And you'll see in the Algonquin outfits, Métis used the ribbons in their regalia. These are made for naming ceremonies, for special wedding I get orders where they want the ribbon skirt for like tomorrow, because there's so many different events coming up. I had as you can see, the orange, Every Child Matters. So a lot of you have heard about what's going on with the Kamloops, just to start with. So prayers up for those families. And this is why I wear this shirt, to show respect for the ones that are gone. Their spirit's still with us. Be aware of that. Okay, we're going to start with making.
So we're going to go into our microphones there now.
Okay,
Up here.
this is approximately 2 meters. I'll go like that. You go like this, do one step. Don't make it too wide, because what happens is you get a tail. You don't want a tail, so it's got to be like that far apart. And then when you cut it, it's the end of the toe. And then you rip it here to measure our natural waist. We go with the natural waist. And usually at the ankle. You measure down. And then you rip this. Okay, you had one started. No.
It's right there.
Okay, I'm going to get Tim to iron this on. You guys know about decals. There's a double tape side that you use, iron it on, and then have the gooey side one side. So I'll get you to iron that on. And that's how it's done for the decals. Go ahead and iron that on.
So we had started before the show started today, we started sewing. She started to show me how to do some of the things. And so I had started to sew this little ribbon skirt, and now I'm going to be ironing on the decal, which is going to be a little turtle. And then when I'm done ironing it, we'll show you.
Okay, and I'm working on another ribbon skirt, and I'm sewing the sides together, so there'll be a little bit of noise here. Okay, that's the iron-on. I don't know if you can see it. And of course you cut off this part and then sew the edges, these two edges together. I'll get you to cut that.
Okay.
Okay, here's the scissors.
So what Christy brought in was her smudge pot here and her eagle feather. In the smudge pot, there's sage. It's white sage, cedar. Looks like possibly there's juniper in there as well, and sweetgrass. And then she has some tobacco here in this white cloth. We do that so that we can be peaceful and keep us focused, and to remind ourselves why we're making these things, why we're making these ceremonial objects. Because what happens is we don't want to bring the on the negative thoughts that we may be carrying, throughout the day or the morning. We don't want to bring those into the beautiful things that we're creating. When I was taught how to operate a sewing machine, the older women, they were referred to as clan mothers in my nation, and they were making quilts, and they were using a sewing machine, and it just so happened that I was there because I wanted to learn how to make a regalia for myself, because I'm not married, and in my culture it's usually the partner that makes the men's regalia. I'm not married, so I had to learn to make my own, and so nobody would make me any. I'd give them money, and nobody wanted to give me. I don't know why. I don't know. That's a whole long story. I'm going to cry about it later. But I said I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it myself, and so I taught myself how to sew based off of what those older women had taught me. And I noticed they had a little tea candle that was beside them. And I asked them, what does the candle mean? And they told me that the candle is like how some people smudge. When we light the candle, it says that it attracts our ancestors, because our ancestors and the spirits, they like to help out. They say that this is something that they like to do. And so when we do and make these things, that they're attracted to it. And so they say that because they're in a different place than us, they're in spirit form, we're in a physical form, that they want to help, and they could confuse us. And so we light the candle to distract them so that they can come and still be around us, but not try and interfere or help us make our item, because we could mess it up. But yeah, let her talk.
Okay, let's get back to the skirt here. Okay, this is a double fold. 2 meters usually. Imagine this part here. It's folded. This is a fold. Then what you do is, a lot of us ladies don't like this part. We get a measurement on our waist. And a lot of you know how to do the measurements. Once you've got the measurement, I'll tell the truth. Oh, 34. So you add 3 inches to 5 inches to that. Then you use your tape to get that 1/2 inch. Trying to figure that out. You go that way. And from this point to this point, you use the large ruler and cut it. And the layout of the ribbons. Of course, you really have a lot of fun with this part. And the decals. Go ahead and sew that together. This is bias tape. As a lot of you know what we use bias tape for, usually for pillows. I've seen it in blankets. There's multiple colors of this. And widths. And there's double fold and single fold. I like the double fold, and I like it wide because it looks cleaner. But you do this last. Once you get the ribbons, you measure out the ribbon. And this is the fun part. You get to lay it out. See on these ones here? There's different widths. I like doing the top of the large ribbons. I don't like doing the bottom because it bunches up. It doesn't work for me. But a lot of people can sew this down. Sew both the top and the bottom. Personally, I like it. It looks more, I don't know. I like one line. Some people like two. See the different colors on the bias? And I like doing the 4 inches from the top, or the bottom, I'm sorry. 4 inches from here to here. And this is where the top comes in. You're just right here. You mark that so you can put your decal on there. Of course, there's a lot of different styles. The plains use a lot of ribbon skirts for powwow. You see the really intricate designs, really beautiful ones of from Jingle Dress is absolutely gorgeous. But once you always do things in twos. One side's got to be done, the other side's got to be done. So this is the center line, and everything comes from that center. Think of your spirit. Your spirit needs nourishment. You need food, heat, good health. Same with the skirt. It needs elements. Ribbons are elements. You need the material. You need the ribbons. You need the bias tape. For those expert sewers, you know what this is. You can use that to cut that one line. Personally, I don't trust myself. I use my scissors. Okay, once that's done, this is what happens with the sewing of it together. We sew the, yeah. And next is this here. When you're doing the bottom, I'll get you to do that too. Once the bottom is put on, make sure that's enough there. Once the bottom is put on like this, you put that on when you've got the edges on this edge done. You do this next. The reason you don't do it before, you don't have a nice finish. Keep in mind, there's another step that I do on occasion. It depends on how much time I've got. On that one base, on that back line, I'll fold it over and sew it again. So there's no loose threads. As you know, babies have a rough time with rough material on them. So keeping it clean is important. Then next, I don't know if you've done using elastic. I don't know where the other one went. For this elastic, what we do next, another measuring. You know that number that we had from from the top of our skirt. We use that. As you're aware, elastic is stretchy. They got button elastics that you can use as well, especially for babies' clothes. There's buttonholes all the way in, and you can use that. I don't like sewing that one section off yet because babies grow so fast. So this is this.
Sorry to interrupt. What do I do?
Okay, hold on here. Too bad you couldn't be closer.
Can you get a zoom in on this?
But this is how you put the bias tape on.
So the bias tape is wrapped around it on
Yeah.
the front and the back.
Like that. And when you sew, go close to the edge on the one side. Always put your needle down.
Come here, please.
Double check your work all the time. Make sure that your material is flat. Always put the needle down first.
Do I rotate this
Yeah,
towards me or away from me?
toward you.
Towards me. Okay. Leave it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back stitch a couple times. Good. You okay? Okay, this one here, I'll pass this around, let you look at it. Turn it inside out, or outside in. So you can see. So you're going to have the decal on there first. You're going to have all your ribbons. And these ones here, this is the fun part. They have ribbons coming down on the sides. And it takes a little extra work, but it's nice to dance with because the ribbons move, eh? So I'll pass that around and let you look at that one.
I'd like to put it on.
So, Christy, can you talk a little bit more about like the different colors that you have of the ribbons?
Okay.
Also talk about the red, on which one, why you're wearing something different than the one that's on the floor or these ones here,
Okay.
please.
All right. Ribbons represent a lot of things. They got families who have danced powwow for, they got generations after generation where their family crests are used for to show what family they come from, which tribe they come from. As you can see, there's a lot of designs in a powwow. If you've never been to a powwow, you gotta go. I'm a dancer. I've been dancing 36 years now. And the amazing part about ribbon skirts, these are worn for, personally I wear this one for ceremony. And the reason for the colors is white is for the north. It represents the buffalo. And then to the east is yellow. To the south is black. And then there's red to the west. There's animal signs to each one of those directions. There's a grandmother for each direction. So when we pray to all our directions, and we ask our grandmothers to come with us, help us for the day. That's why the prayers and smudging is so important. But again, it's up to the individual on what colors you want to put on there. Animals, I'm the bear and the wolf. There's people who are from the eagle clan. And it's up to the individual on what you want for decals. I got a call on this one for wanted hummingbirds. She just loves hummingbirds. So as far as I know, personally, I don't use ribbons in my, I'm a traditional dancer. It's all beadwork, fully beaded. So the reason I've done the ribbon skirts is because I've been called out. When an elder calls you out, you show up. You show up and do what is required. So it changes. Now it's young people in Pow Wow. They're using wedding veil material to cover the skirts. That's the latest thing. Colors vary. Like, you just have fun with it. Prime example is that one with the flowers. You sort of guess, throw it out there and see what it looks like. And everybody's got an opinion on different layouts. I've seen crisscross, using crisscross on the ribbons where they join in one area, and I've seen they used star blanket designs on these skirts. So I've seen it so simple as this one, where it's only got a few ribbons, but it has a great impact. And then you get into this, and again to that one with the flowers. You can do print, but this is broadcloth, what I used, and that's from quilting material. What else? How's it going?
It is going pretty good, better than I thought. My fingers aren't sewn to it yet. So with this here.
You cut here.
Okay. Do I
Leave,
use painting
leave.
shears?
No,
Oh.
regular.
So right there where
Yeah.
your middle finger is?
When you measure, you got to remember Grandma never had a measuring stick. Here's 2 inches. Usually, it's in the Chinese, used where they measured the neck, measure the waist. It's a neat process. Okay, once you get the fold this over.
Okay.
You fold over the tail. You know all the ends of the last sewing. You throw that. You snip that off. Make sure to keep your machine clean. You can't have any little pieces of material. We only got 5 minutes left.
5 minutes, okay. So fold it.
Yeah,
Okay.
fold it. I want to leave on a good note. I'm a survivor. What they did to my relations was unforgivable, and I will never, ever forgive them. Or I will forgive, but I will never forget. It's time for me to give what I've learned through 36 years of ceremony. And I only got a little bit of information that I've given you. It's up to you to take that information of sewing a ribbon skirt for that grandchild, because that ribbon skirt's going to be in thousands of pictures. When we're gone, my son will say, "Mom made that skirt for my niece." And this is what it means. Because she's from the Bear Clan and the Wolf Clan. And she's a survivor. We all make mistakes. But the biggest mistake is not forgetting or forgiving. Pray hard for your family. You want to say some last words?
Got kicked out of the captain's seat. You know, I have to say that I've been hosting and doing shows like this previously. You know, I'm used to being in front of the camera and speaking in front of an audience. But this is the first time where I actually don't want to talk, because I think the person that we need to really listen to and hear is her. So I'm going to leave what she said, you know, and let that sit in your hearts, you know. But I will say this, you know, I am going to say something. She is a survivor. She is somebody who had gone through hell, chose to come to this earth, you know, from her experience in hell, and chose to use that experience to share love. You know, what I say is that people who've gone through some really hard things, you know, we have a choice. We can either contribute to that abuse and pass it on, or we can change it. So I think the lesson that I'm getting from Christy here is that she had made a choice to learn from that mistake that wasn't hers, but that those people who hurt her, the mistake that they made, she chose to make that into a lesson to teach you all here and all on live stream on how not to treat people, how not to treat yourself, how not to treat the earth, you know. So she's turned all that, you know, into something really positive, you know, and that's what Expressions of Reclamation is about. It's about using our arts and our creativity to show, you know, how we move on in our life, you know. And so I want her to end, you know, her presentation with some more awesomeness, and I'm just going to be quiet and sit down.
I've been in ceremony for 36 years now. I battled alcoholism. I never won. But I did arrest it 36 years ago. My family is rampant with alcoholism, drug addicts. And due to residential school, I'm closer to you than my sisters now, because they don't have the knowledge of being family. So if you have family, you have a child that is being irate about something, remember that child is a gift. That child is a gift. And that child's going to remember what you say to them. How you say it. If that's the way you want that child to remember you, be aware. Be aware that child remembers everything you say and do. Pass on that beautiful person that you are. Remember, Creator doesn't make junk. Stay where your moccasins are. Blessings all around. Thank you for coming. Okay, question time. Anybody have questions? You're welcome to come.
Just a question here about Christy, and who taught you to sew, as well as when did you start passing on this knowledge to the younger generation?
Say that again.
Who taught you to sew, and when did you start passing on this knowledge to the younger generation?
I started this the day I got sober, 36 years ago. I started passing the knowledge of how to stay clean and sober. For ceremonies, I was the student. I sat in front of my elders in UEP ceremonies, in sweat lodges. So it's been most of my life that I've learned to give back. And now that I'm in the winter of my life, I get to pass on what knowledge was given to me freely. Any other questions?
Can anybody respectfully make the ribbon skirts and wear them, or is it strictly for ceremonial purposes?
Say that again?
Can anyone respectfully make the ribbon skirt, or strictly for ceremonial purposes?
I did some research. Personally, I've always made skirts for people when they go to ceremony. For example, let's say you're invited to a sweat lodge. See, a woman is a life giver, and a woman is to wear a skirt at ceremony and be very humble. Make sure that the neck is covered and the arms. It doesn't have to be long sleeve, but my length. And the reason for the skirt itself is so the Creator knows the sacred woman is walking on Mother Earth. And the only way the Creator knows that is through the brushing of the skirt on the ground. And anybody can wear it as long as you wear it with honor and respect. Be aware why you're wearing it, because that skirt is a sacred item as you are. Did I answer right? Good. Any other questions?
So I have a question. So my question is, I love to sew. You know, is it okay that I sew, me as a man, sews ribbon skirts? That's my question.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Men do ribbon skirts. Some of them, some are better than women. I wouldn't say that out loud, though. Yeah, I've seen men make ribbon skirts, but it's a woman's job to do that. It's handing it down to the grandchildren, taking care of your women in your circle, in your family.
So when you say it's a woman's responsibility or a woman's job, is it because is there certain teachings and lessons that is only for women? That
Yes, women can't be in physical ceremony when they're on their time, when their period is happening, and can't be near these. Women are to be served. They're not to make meals. They're not to clean house. They're not to do any of that. Way back when my great-grandmother was a young child, and when she started her time, they physically would take her to the teepee, which is the red teepee, where all the women would take care of that one woman, if it was only one. Usually, for example, when you're working in any job, I had this happen where all us women had our time at the same time. And what happens is, when they're in that teepee, the other women will take care of them, which is usually the aunties. Grandmothers don't have anything other than show them the teachings. So what happens is, once they're finished their 4 days or 4 to 6, depending on each one, they're fed. They're not to touch any regalia, no ribbon skirt. They're to be catered to in all ways. If it's a husband and wife living at home, the men are to take care of the women, make sure that they're fed and taken care of in that time, where they're not to be serving anybody. Because it's a sacred time. A woman is a sacred person, because we are the life givers. Did that help? Any other questions? Comments?
Yeah, sorry, I have a question. With the elastic, when you're measuring, do you add inches to it, or do you take away inches to it, or you just measure your exact waist? Because we haven't finished the elastic, so when you measured with the material, you added 3 to 4 inches. Now, when you're doing the elastic, when you measure your waist, do you decrease it or add?
Sorry, I didn't finish that part. Okay, that's the natural waist. I don't like it tight personally. I just do 1 inch where there's elastic. This is my natural, so it's not too tight. And I like my skirts loose because I put my skirt over top of pants. That's important for me. Sorry about that.
I distracted you on that one. There's one more question there, Mary.
Is this, okay, we're good. Christy, at the beginning of the session, when I'm on, you want me to just talk loud? Talk loud. Tim also talked about an opportunity that you're looking to address regarding your work in schools. And I'm wondering if you would like to speak to that a little bit more, about how you would like to do this work within our local schools.
Well, I've got a bachelor's degree in Indian fine arts. I'm a major in painting and minor in Indian art history, and I got the bug of learning. Totally love learning all sorts of arts and crafts, especially. I like biographies. I love sitting down with a complete stranger and finding out their itsy bitsy stuff, trying to find out where they're from and getting to know them. Because they got some amazing, absolutely amazing wisdom in their lives. So I got the bug when I went to university. So instead of looking for a job, I knew there was a job available at high school level. And I worked for the school board in Regina, Saskatchewan, where I graduated my university. And I was blessed with grade 9 to grade 12. And so having to teach a child how to smudge and give him that gift of listening. What can they teach me, not the other way around? That's the biggest one. Treat that child as a sacred item, sacred person. That's really important to do that, no matter what age. And I went the other way. And I went to Tiny Tots. I got to go to Tiny Tots. I was kindergarten until grade 4. I like the older ones. They were rough on me. Little ones, I couldn't keep up. But it was beautiful. I spent, ever since then, I've been teaching the various levels through counseling. My alcoholism, I went literally counseling one-on-ones, as well as teaching them how to make teepees, making dresses, drums, moccasins, a little bit of everything. If anybody has any personal questions, you're welcome to come and get my card. And you can contact me directly. Yeah.
So I just want to say how honored I am, to have the opportunity to have been taught just a little bit, by you, Christy. I'm honored, to be shown how to utilize my sewing machine in the better way than I have. She taught me how to oil it. I didn't know I had to oil that. She was like, you need to oil it, and it works perfectly now. So, those little things. It's those little things, that make my life, much happier. I would have never been taught that. I also want to say that I appreciate all of you here. We have to wrap up now. But before we do that, I'd like you to know that we encourage you to take some more time to do a survey. We have a survey available for what your thoughts are about what you had experienced here. Also, on the people on the live stream, thank you for being a part of this, virtually. I encourage you to check out the survey as well. Again, thank all of you for being here. I can't say enough. I wish we had more time. I really love listening to our elders and our older people, our wisdom keepers and knowledge holders. So tomorrow, July 30th, today's 29th, July 30th, we have another individual who'll be on, so I encourage all of you to come and participate in that as well, Mitchell Saddleback. So,
Special thanks to the Zoom team over there. I got a friend, she's in New York. She's watching us right now.
thank you.